In this video, we're going to produce a final tapered strip in 2 passes. Now, to start with, on the touch screen, we're going to go to the manual screen. Now we're going to press reference home, in which the machine will establish its home position, which has to be done every time we power up the machine. Now we go to the menu, and we're going to go to the mill screen, and we're going to press the first cut button. At that time, we're going to put a strip in the machine. And now we come back and press the first cut button, the machine starts, and we're cutting this strip at 40 thousandths over the finished taper dimensions. It's going to go to station 15, at which point it's going to return, and then we'll be ready for the final cut. There's 15. I'm going to rapid traverse back to the start. Now we're going to press the final cut button. It's going to prompt us to look at the dial indicator, make sure it's at the correct reading. We press it again, it starts, it crosses over until both wheels are contacting the strip, comes down and starts cutting the final taper. Comes up, rapid traverse back, and now we're getting ready to remove the strip, and we're ready to go. Now I want to show you how we set the taper. First off, we're going to remove the taper bar from the carriage. It's held in place by 3 cap screws, and this is the third one. We'll take it off. Now we can just grab the taper bar itself and pull it out away from the carriage. Now we're going to take it over to the workbench and set the taper in a horizontal position. I've got a cradle sitting on the bench, and we're going to set it down in that cradle. You notice that we've got a dial indicator mounted on a fixture, and we're going to move it up to the 30-inch position, and at this point we know that the taper is set at 175 or 170 thousandths. Now we're going to move it from station 30 down to station 25, and in looking at our taper, we know that the next position, this 25 position, is going to be 10 thousandths less, or 160 thousandths. So we set that up, and we lock it in place. And now we're going to move down to the station number 20. And here we're going to lift the taper bar up and move it down. It's a little easier than moving the camera. We tighten it up, and we're going to loosen up the one screw and tighten the other one up and move it by 8 thousandths to the next setting. And tighten it back up. And now we'll move down to the next station, which is station 15, and we'll complete it in 10 and 5 and 0 and even -5. And now we can put the taper bar back in the machine, and we're ready to make the next one. Now we're going to run through the first cut and final cut operations again, this time watching the screen. So first off, here we are referencing home. The carriage, you can see, is moving toward the left, and now it's returning toward the right until it gets to the home position. It's there. Now we're going to go to the mill screen, and let's go to mill settings. And here we see the cutting speed is set at 45. We're going to start the cut at a almost minus an inch, and the end of the cut is 15 inches. We're going to change that to 13 inches just for demonstration purposes. We press enter, and now we go back to the mill screen, and we can press the first cut, and we put the strip in. Now we start it. The blinking yellow light means that it's in the process of running that first cut. It's now at 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, and it's going to go all the way to 13, at which time it's going to rapid traverse back. We're at 10, 11, 12, 13, and it's moving back. You notice that 40 on there means we're cutting this strip 40 thousandths oversize. Now we're going to press the final cut button. It prompts us to take a look at the dial indicator, make sure it's all right. If it is, we push the button, and we are moving. We're going down. Now we're moving forward, and we're in the final cut. Again, it's going to go all the way to 13 and then raise up and return. We're at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, up and back. Now we've completed the final strip. Now let's move on and look at the scalloping program. So we're at the home screen. We'll go to manual first, and then we'll hit the menu button, and we'll hit scalloping. And now we're ready for scalloping, but first let's take a look and see what the settings are. So we press the setting button. Now we're in the settings screen, and you'll notice the first scallop length is 3/4 of an inch. We're going to start the first scallop at 1.5 inches from the tip. It's going to end at 14 inches, and the dam length is going to be 38. Now this increment, we're going to change from 1/2 inch to 100 thousandths. And what this means is that each successive scallop is going to be 100 thousandths longer than the previous one. Now we go to the scallop screen, and we push the auto button, and the machine will start. It'll cross over without doing any cutting till it gets to 1 1/2 inches, at which point it'll go down. It'll cut the first scallop at 3/4 of an inch. The next one is going to be 850 thousandths. This one is going to be 950 thousandths. And now we're 1 inch and 50 thousandths. And we're going to continue on going all the way to the 14 inches, which is going to be the end of our scallop. And regardless of where we are, when we get to that point, it's going to raise up and return, which is going to happen right here. Now we rapid traverse back, and we have a scallop strip, and we're ready to put the next one in.